So it's about 7:30 on Tuesday the 15th of February 2022. Been a little while since I've done a video. So I'm actually just southeast of Nottingham at the moment. I'm just taking a run up to run along the banks of the Trent River, and I've just set off from Gamston Lock. So it's just a little bit of a easy run this morning. So it's a little bit muddy here, a bit slippery, coming through by the yacht and rowing club here. So what I'm hoping will appear, there it is the Trent. I'm going to run along that for a little while and back again. Oh, it really is slippery. There you are. There's the Trent River, and there's already rowers out there. So there's a big rowing course off to our right there, one of the big rectangular water rowing courses that are used in competition. But this is there's a heron taking off, and there's the Trent, and there's Nottingham just up the river there. I'm just going to run along here for a little while, as they say, going there and back to see how far it is. Starting to see a bit of the outskirts of Nottingham now. A few boats, a couple of runners, mostly muddy. Just take it easy over this bit. So quick note on the coronavirus. So what's happening at the moment is most of the restrictions here in the UK have gone. So mask wearing, I notice in shops, probably people still are wearing them, but it's a minority now. Muddy bit. I go into this path. In the Netherlands, they're keeping with the lowered set of restrictions and probably going to unlock pretty soon. So of course we had the outbreak of the Omicron variant, which is very much more infectious than the Delta, just before Christmas. So there was this massive surge in cases. So there's about between 80 and 100 per 100,000 in the UK at the moment per day, new cases, and that equates, it's about it's getting down low actually, it's about 50 to 60,000 per day for the whole of the UK. That compares with the Netherlands, it's still bubbling around 60, 70, 80,000 each day, which, if you consider is a country quarter the size, they're actually recording more cases per day on a quarter of the population of the UK. Now they've had a big problem with recording, so there's been this massive surge of backlog cases and so on, but a lot of it was because of Omicron. They just couldn't, the testing system couldn't cope, so they increased the testing system, and as a result they then couldn't cope with all the results and processing, so it's this massive backlog. So what we've also then seen, I don't think I'm going to go back on that mud, that looks like that's just going to be a recipe for getting very stinky and very nasty, considering I've got to go, still got to drive up to Newcastle, which is 3 hours away. Now while we've seen this massive surge in Omicron, so it's gone up probably up to 4 times, but certainly 2 to 3 times higher than under Delta, massive surge in cases, in new cases. What you've seen, or what we've seen in the UK anyway, is that has resulted in an increase after a week or two in cases, but only roughly a doubling of cases going into hospital, so being admitted, people severe enough that they need admission. That's coming down. It's at about 12 to 1300 a day it was 1,000 before Christmas, so it's gradually coming down to that level again after it peaked at 2,000, just over cases a day. But if you look at the ICU, so the really critically ill going into needing ventilation and so on, those pretty much flatted. So it was starting to come down, then the Omicron kicked in and it just leveled off. So whereas under Delta, about 1 in 10 cases coming into hospital were then needing to go into ICU, it's less than 3% conversion with Omicron. So it appears to be a lot less serious. So it's producing at least half the rate of hospital admissions, but of course there's a lot more cases, so you end up with a lot more hospital admissions. But there's about a 3% going into ICU as opposed to the 10% under Delta. So that's at least a good sign. So that's just the update for coronavirus. So I'm just going to make my way back. As soon as I just turned around, thought I'd rather go on this dirt trail than the muddy trail. You can see probably on a dry day would have been quite nice through there, or if I'd got my proper off-road shoes and I wasn't about to get in the car for 3 hours, I would certainly go on the mud because it's good fun. Slows you down, but it's good fun. And yeah, so this should be about 6 kilometres this morning. I'll get cleaned up and go and head for some breakfast. Right, a little bit of roadworks here. See, they've actually created a little bit of an avenue for pedestrians and then cyclists over there. So it's nice to know they've thought of other road users, not just the cars, and just dump you into a single lane of traffic. So I'm almost back now. It wasn't due to be raining until 10 o'clock, it's only just gone 8 now, so this is a bit premature. Hope it's not going to be too bad. It's supposed to be sunny intervals in Newcastle, so we'll see as we head north. And then there's big high winds coming in Wednesday afternoon and evening. Once again, we've had a lot of these, what originally were storms, either tropical or ones that have come up the US coast and then come across this winter. Incredibly mild, so it's about 8 degrees today, although with the wind chill it is a lot colder. But it's going to be 14 degrees on Thursday, which is ridiculous. This is the middle of the winter. 14 degrees Celsius, that is. Anyway, almost back. Everybody was very nice around here, very friendly. Even though you saw the highway guys waited for me, which is really nice, courteous. There's new highway code regulations that come in UK, they're probably long overdue. So there's now more emphasis on the safety of pedestrians and cyclists. And one of them is, if you come to turn as a car, left or right at a junction, and there's a pedestrian waiting to cross, you've got to give way. So you can't just turn into that junction just because you're in the middle of the road. You actually have to wait for the pedestrian to go. The other thing is, if you see a cyclist on your inside and you're about to turn, say, left, and that's might cause that cyclist to either brake or have to swerve, you've also got to wait for them to pass you on the inside. So it's getting a bit more like the Dutch regulations, but of course the Dutch have a lot more cycle lanes. So as a car driver, if you turn right in the Netherlands, going on the left in the UK, you always have to look over your shoulder, check there's no cyclists coming up inside, because they've just got the same right of way as you have as a car, except for as a car you owe a duty of care to them because they're more vulnerable. Anyway, that's just a quick update. I say that because while I was running in Hampshire, I had 2 cars cut across me as I was crossing, not even while I was waiting, and they should have given way and then carried on. It wasn't any desperate rush, they just lack of basic courtesy, and also now not knowing the rules. Anyway, that's my whinge over, so I'll go back, have a nice warm shower, a nice breakfast.